Before this movie, Bruce Lee was not yet the global icon we remember today. He had worked in America, he had appeared on television, he had struggled to find the right opportunities. Then he went back to Hong Kong, and in 1971, something happened. A movie called The Big Boss opened in theaters. Audiences saw Bruce Lee on the big screen. And suddenly, everything changed. The man Hollywood had struggled to understand had become a movie star. Not years later, not after Enter the Dragon. This was the beginning. Welcome back to LeeVerse. Today we're going back to 1971. Bruce Lee had returned to Hong Kong after struggling to establish himself as a leading actor in Hollywood. Now he had a chance to prove himself somewhere else. The film was The Big Boss, and its success would transform Bruce Lee from a promising martial artist and actor into one of Hong Kong's biggest new stars. But what made this moment so important? And why did audiences respond to Bruce Lee so differently? Bruce Lee had already spent much of his life between Hong Kong and the United States. He knew both cultures, but Hollywood hadn't given him the leading roles he wanted. Then came the opportunity with Golden Harvest. Producer Raymond Chow offered Bruce the chance to star in The Big Boss. Bruce accepted. It wasn't necessarily obvious at the time that this would become a historic career move. But Bruce saw an opportunity, and he took it. Bruce Lee wasn't the typical martial arts star audiences had become accustomed to seeing. He didn't move like a traditional movie hero. His physicality was different, his expressions were different, his speed was different, and most importantly, he had presence. The camera seemed to notice him. Bruce didn't simply perform martial arts. He communicated emotion through movement. That would become one of the defining characteristics of his screen persona. The Big Boss was released in 1971. Bruce played Chung Chao-on, a young man who travels to Thailand and eventually becomes involved in a violent conflict surrounding his family's workplace. The film was designed as a martial arts action movie, but audiences quickly discovered something unexpected. They weren't just watching the story. They were watching Bruce Lee. His presence dominated the film. The response was enormous. The Big Boss became a major box office success in Hong Kong. Bruce Lee was suddenly a major star. The transformation was remarkable. Only a short time earlier, he had been trying to find opportunities in America. Now theaters across Hong Kong were attracting audiences eager to see him. Bruce had found the audience that Hollywood had failed to give him. Part of Bruce Lee's appeal was authenticity. He wasn't pretending to be a martial artist. He was one. But that alone doesn't explain his success. Bruce understood cinema. He understood rhythm. He understood the importance of camera angles. He understood how movement could tell a story. And he understood something perhaps even more important. The audience needed to believe in the character. Bruce's performances combined martial arts ability with emotional intensity. That combination was rare. After The Big Boss, Bruce Lee wasn't simply an actor who had made a successful movie. He was now a bankable star. That changed the balance of power. His next film would be even bigger, and Bruce's ambitions grew. He wanted more control, more influence, a bigger role in the filmmaking process. The success of The Big Boss gave him leverage, and Bruce intended to use it. Bruce's next major film was Fist of Fury. This time, expectations were completely different. Audiences already knew who Bruce Lee was. They came specifically to see him. The success of The Big Boss had created something new. A Bruce Lee movie wasn't simply a martial arts movie. It was a Bruce Lee event. Bruce Lee's trajectory accelerated rapidly. Within a short period, he would star in The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, and then Enter the Dragon. But none of that was guaranteed when The Big Boss first opened. That's why the moment matters. It was the first major proof that Bruce Lee could carry a movie. Bruce Lee had spent years trying to prove himself. Now he didn't need to explain what he could do. The audience had decided they wanted more. And Bruce Lee responded by pushing himself further. His films became more ambitious, his philosophy became more visible, and his influence spread beyond Hong Kong. The story of Bruce Lee is often told from the end. We know what happened. We know he became an international icon. We know Enter the Dragon became a global phenomenon. But imagine being in a Hong Kong theater in 1971, before any of that had happened. The audience didn't know what Bruce Lee would become. They simply saw something they had never seen before, a new kind of martial arts movie star. And they wanted more. Bruce Lee didn't become a global legend overnight. But the big boss was the moment the trajectory changed. Hollywood hadn't given him the opportunity he wanted. Hong Kong did. And Bruce Lee turned that opportunity into something much bigger. A career, a movement, and eventually, a legacy that would reach around the world. Thank you for watching LeeVerse. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more carefully researched episodes about the real moments behind Bruce Lee's life and legacy. Until next time, the legend had to start somewhere, and this was where it began.